Well, hey Divi Nation, and welcome to a brand new Divi use case live stream where each week we show you how to add new design and functionality to your Divi websites. And today we have a special one for you. I'm going to be showing you how to combine animation and parallax to create some unique designs in Divi. For more information, please check out the video description below for more on this use case, and there's a link to the blog post as well. So let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So let's do a quick check. Welcome everyone. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up if I'm coming in clear for you guys, and go ahead and tell us where you're from, and hopefully we can answer any questions you guys have as we go along. This is going to be a unique one, so I hope we learn some things along the way. And as you can see on my screen right now, I have the blog post that goes along with this use case up and running for you to see. It went out live on our blog, elegantthemes.com/blog this morning, so it'll be there for you later on. And we will also have this live stream video available for you afterwards as well. So if you miss out on anything, we'll make it available and attach it to that blog post as well. It'll also be available in our YouTube channel and on Facebook as well. All right, so here's the blog post. Let's do a quick, looks like I'm coming in. I got some thumbs up from Fred and Ender. Welcome. Thank you for that. Welcome, Amy. Let's go ahead and check out on Facebook. Look like we have a thumbs up. I think we're good to go. All right, so here's a little a preview of where we're going to be going today with this use case. I'm going to reload this page, and you'll see that there's going to be an animation, initial animation, and then there's going to be the parallax in effect as you scroll down the page. So the two of them combine for a unique design. Let me go ahead and refresh, show you what I'm talking about. So as you can see, the animation comes in, and then as you scroll down the page, you can see the parallax image. This main image over here on the left has a matching image, the same image rather, as the image used in the background here. So on the initial animation, you'll see that it comes in like a regular image, but as you scroll down the page, it's going to have the parallax effect. So it's kind of like a little magical thing that happens there. It's pretty cool. And then over here, we have some text modules that we've added, some other parallax methods to the images as well. And as you scroll, you can see just a very unique design. Looks very elegant. And I'll show you how to do that. There's a next design below. I'm going to refresh this one. This is a little different. As you can see, the initial animations of the content come in, and then the background comes in later. Let me show you that one again. And then as you scroll, of course, the parallax is in effect. And the last one here is just using some blend modes there in a unique way to give you a unique design here in the front animation. You can see the images are a different color, and then the background image comes in. Real nice effect there. So I'm going to show you, it's actually pretty easy to do once you have all the elements set up, the content ready to go. So that's where we're heading. Pretty cool things up ahead, so stay tuned. If you're just joining us, I do want to welcome you to this week's Divi use case live stream. And today I'm showing you how to combine animation and parallax in Divi for some unique designs. And of course, check the video description for more info. And let's go ahead and continue. We're going to get started here with a blank slate here, building on the front end in Divi. The only thing you really need for this tutorial are some images. I'm actually using images from the Life Coach landing page. And those can be accessed on our website at elegantthemes.com/layouts to see all those layouts. And they're also already built into Divi as well. So you can access any of those layouts from the Divi builder from the library. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do. Oh, before I forget, on the blog post, if you want to download these examples that we're building today for free, you can get a download on that blog post as well. You'll get a JSON layout that you can import, and you can see how these were built without actually going through the entire process yourself. All right, so let's get started with a blank slate here. Let's go ahead and add a new row. Let's add a let's go ahead and add a 2-column row here. And before I get into my modules or adding any modules, I'm going to update my row and my section settings. The only thing I'm going to change for my section is I'm going to take out this custom padding here. To do that, I'm just going to drag it close there, take out my padding. And then for my row, I'm just going to also set my padding to 0 in the top and bottom. And let's go ahead and add our background image. Now this is going to be our parallax image in our background for this row. So like I said before, I'm going to add the life coach, one of the images from the life coach layout, this picture here. And we're going to, it's a good photo to use because we can kind of frame out the portrait of this lady here as a kind of a design element. And then as we do the scrolling, the parallax will come into effect quite nicely. So to deploy parallax, I'm just going to, let me bring this up a little bit. Click use parallax, yes, and then I'm going to use CSS parallax. Now this is a must for this design to work. You have to use the CSS parallax method, and there's actually, if you have any questions about how parallax works and what's the difference between CSS and true parallax methods, there's actually a blog post that I did quite a while ago on basically the ultimate guide on understanding parallax. And just search parallax on our blog and you'll find it, and that'll kind of run through the differences. The main difference, though, I'll just highlight it here for you, is that the CSS parallax method basically gives a fixed static image in the background that will stay in place no matter the size of the element that kind of contains it. So just as an example, this, if we could, we'll see this a little bit better as we go along, but the parallax, if I go back to our working example here, as you can see, the image is being filled in the entire back of the browser window. So it's automatically going to just kind of go full width and behind there. And so it stays static as you scroll down. As you can see, that background image isn't moving at all. And if we add a CSS parallax to this module here, the background of this text module here, it's actually, going to position the image, even though it's another version of that image, it's positioning it in the exact same spot, static behind the content. So it looks like it's the same image being used, but it's actually not. That's why we get the effect that we have on the initial animation, that it looks like a regular image when it first animates over. But it's actually another version of that image using CSS parallax. I hope that makes sense. The true parallax wouldn't work because it's using a different method of having that image move as you scroll up and down. All right. Continuing on, let's go ahead and add our image here. We do want to make it full width, so I'm going to go to my sizing and go to width, and let's do 100% width, and then same for max width. I'm just going to make it 100%. For my padding, I'm just going to add for my row here, let's do 10 VW and the same on the bottom. So I just need some spacing there. And let's do on the right and left. Actually, I don't need it on the bottom, so I'm going to unlink it and take it out on the bottom there. But I do want some spacing on the left since it is full width. Let's do 10 VW, and VW is the viewport width, so it's going to be basically 10% of the viewport width on both sides there. Now I'm ready for my module, so I'm going to add my text module over here on the left side, or left column. And let's add some content. I'm actually going to add my own content. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to add a paragraph text here, body text, with a break right there in the middle of hi and I'm Jane. And so that's going to give us the break that we want here in our text. And then I just want to link there at the bottom, an about me link. As you can see, it kind of has a hover effect when I hover over the text module. So there's my content. And I do want to add a background image, so let's do that. And I'm wanting to use the same background image that we used for our row background, so let's get that one. Same exact one. And as you can see, the default version, you can actually see it, the difference there. But if I turn on CSS Parallax, it basically looks like it disappears, but it's actually being positioned the same way as the one in the background is. So it looks in the same spot, which opens the door for some unique design capabilities, especially with animation. All right, so let's scroll down here and let's get to our text font. Let's go ahead and use, for my text font, we'll use Fire Sans. And let's make it a lightweight font. Make sure it's white. And let's make it 70 pixels. So our text is going to be 70 pixels. And let's adjust our line height to 1 EM. There you go. And let's go ahead and adjust our link styles. Let's go to our link tab here. And let's make it underline. Make it white. Oh, that's my line color. So let's do the white text, link text color is white. Let's make the size 30 pixels. Shrink it down some. And let's give it a letter spacing of 2 pixels. And if you wanted to, you can give your link text a hover color. Let's go ahead and do that. There you go. That takes care of our link. Now let's go ahead and give it some padding here to our text module. Let's give it a 20% top padding and a 20% bottom padding and a 10% left and right. So basically, this is your opportunity to frame the area that you want to have the animation or the text module overlap the image. So in this case, we're trying to, frame the lady's portrait area here. So let's go to our border width to really get our frame where we want it. So I'm going to add a border width of 20 pixels and we're going to make it white. So there's our frame. Now we're ready for our animation style. Let's go ahead and, so for this animation, we're going to use slide and we're going to slide it to the right. So animation direction is right. There you go. And the duration, let's increase it to 1500 milliseconds. Slow it down just a tad. And let's do our animation intensity, bring it up to 80%. And our opacity, let's start it out at 20%. There you go. Looking good. Let's go ahead and save it out. And let's check out what it looks like on the live version. There you go. Now I can't really scroll because I don't have any other content. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to add some bottom margin to my section, just temporarily, so that I can have some scrolling capabilities to show you. All right, let's refresh. There's my animation and there's my parallax effect. All right, pretty cool so far. Let's go ahead and add our other text elements here. Let's go ahead and add another text module. And for this one, we're actually just going to add the text, my blog. This is kind of like a navigational element or like a featured element, like where they can click on. And we're going to add a background image to this text module. Let's go ahead and add another image from the life coach. There we go. That portrait there. And we're going to use true parallax for this one, mixing it up a little bit. And we're going to need to add, the same font styles as we did before, or same text font as before. Let's make it all caps and let's center it in our text module. Make sure it's white and let's give it a 10 pixel, leave it the text size default, but do 10 pixels of letter spacing. Get a lot of spacing in those letters. And let's go ahead and set a max width for this one. So I'm going to set my width to 320 pixels. And then I'm going to set a max width to match it. So 320 pixels max width. And I'm going to center the module. And now I need to get some spacing there. So let's go over to my spacing, add a top margin of -5 VW. That'll bring it up some. And let's get some bottom margin to create some space for the next text module we'll be adding right below it. And then for our mobile, let's go ahead and change our top margin to 3 VW. All right. Let's go to our desktop padding and change it to 70 pixels on the top. Since we're using a fixed width, that means it's or a pixel width. It's going to be fixed, so it's not going to be adjusting, with the browser, the container width. as you shrink your browser or whatever, but it's small enough that it'll still look the same on mobile as well. So no worries there. It allows me to get the exact placement of the image that I want. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and give that same border as we did for our first text module. 20 pixels and then white. All right, so as you can see, as I scroll up and down, you can see that true parallax in effect there, which adds a more gradual movement. And then let's go ahead and add our animation. We're going to do another slide animation, except this time we're going to go down. And we're going to delay it by 200 milliseconds. All right. Let's go ahead and save that out. Jump over to my questions here. All right. Very good. Looking like there's not really any questions here. We have something from Amen or Amen. Please inform us at least half hour before next live. Before live next time. Oh, okay. So yeah, these live streams, good question, will come normally every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And also, it's always good to subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook so that you can get notifications whenever we have a live stream. That's going to help you out there, just in case, so you don't miss out on the live stream. But good question or comment. Okay, let's continue on. We're going to add another text module under here with a parallax background. It's the last one as far as our content goes. And let's go ahead and jumpstart the design by duplicating this one, opening up the text module settings, and let's go ahead and change the background. Actually, no, we're going to keep the same background. We're just going to change background image. We're just going to change the parallax method to CSS. And as you can see, it's going to look quite differently. And let's go ahead and go over here to our width. And let's change the width from 320 to 240. Make it a little narrower. And then 240 max width as well. Change our alignment to left alignment. And then let's go to our margin. And let's update the bottom margin to 0. And let's get some padding here. We're going to actually add more padding. So I'm going to create 170 padding on the top and the bottom. And the left padding, this is a unique way to, get these the text here to show up vertically, is to go ahead and add padding so that it runs out of room and then they start to stack vertically. I'll show you what that looks like here. So when I add 95 pixels of left and right padding, you'll see that my text now displays vertically in my text module there. And because I have a fixed width and height, that will stay in place. All right, looking good so far. Let's do an animation for this text module. We already have the slider animation that we inherited from our previous text module. All we need to do is change the direction from down to up. There you go. And let's save that. And that'll take care of our Oh, looks like we are still in need of some spacing here. Good. Let's change our margin. That's what we're doing wrong here. Let's take out our negative 5 VW. There we go. Yep, that looks right. Let's go ahead and check out what it looks like on the live version. There's my animation, and there's my parallax effect. All right, so that takes care of our first one. Before I make a few tweaks to it to show you how to do the next one, let me welcome all of you who are just joining us today. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're actually showing you how to combine animation and parallax in Divi for some unique designs. And so please be sure to check the video description for more info on this use case live stream today, and check out the blog post that goes along with it as well. And if you don't have Divi yet, I've included a link to our Divi product page so you can find more information on the Divi theme. Let's get back to it. This next one is going to involve, adding a background, a separate row to serve as our main background so that we can bring it in after the content loads. And I'll just show you what I mean by that on this one here. So if I refresh, you'll see that initially the content comes in and then the background. So that second wave of animation is that row being pulled in. And so in order to do this, I'm going to need to create a separate row and dedicate that one just for my background. All right, so to do that, I'm going to go to my wireframe view mode here. As you can see, this is my section, my row, and my modules here. Let's go ahead and create a, let's duplicate the row, but I'm not going to need these modules, so I'm going to delete the modules here. So all I really want is that row with my background image in there. And then I'm going to update my row, my top row settings to have a fixed height, because by default it's not going to have any height because I have no content. So I'm going to give it a fixed height. Let's make it 900 pixels. And on tablet, it's going to need to be longer because it's going to the content's going to stack on top of one another. So I want to make sure it has enough room and give it a 2000 height on tablet. Then I'm going to get some spacing here. I don't want any padding on this one. So I'm going to take out my top and bottom padding. And I don't need any padding for my right and left. So we're good there. But I do want to add an animation for my row background. So I'm going to add a slide animation that goes to the right. And I want to have a delay because it's going to happen right after my modules animate. So I'm going to add a delay of about 18, or excuse me, this is my duration. Let's make our duration to 1250 milliseconds, and our delay is going to be 1800 milliseconds. Of course, you can play around it with the settings as you like for your own needs. And let's go ahead and give it I think that's it for the top row. Let's go ahead and save it out, and let's deploy the desktop view mode. You can see there's my my row with just my background image that has a fixed height of 900 pixels. As I scroll down, you see my second row with all my content in it. So now all I need to do is get rid of my background image for this row and then bring it up to overlap this row up here. So this is how I'll do that. Let's go down to this. Sorry. Let's go down to my second row below here and update my row settings. And I'm going to give it a margin. Let's go to my spacing. And you remember the height was 900 pixels, so I'm going to use negative margin to bring it up 900 pixels. And so now it's going to perfectly overlap my row above it. And I'll make sure on tablet I give it an overlapping of 2000 to match. There we go. Now we want to take out the background image for this row because we already have one. Take that out. Okay. Let's go ahead and save it out, show you what that looks like so far. All right, we'll refresh the page. You see our content comes in and then our row comes in afterward. And we still have that parallax effect. But what you could do now, since we have, basically a white background, that's actually the section background. So we can change that if we wanted to add another color element on the initial animation. So let's open up our second row with all of our content here. And let's add a background color. Just to show you what I mean. There you go. Oh, that's my fault. I'm adding it to the wrong spot. Sorry. I'm still in the row settings, so I need to get out of there. And I need to go to my section settings. So I'm going to go to my wireframe view mode, open up section settings, and then add my background color there. All right, so now save it out. And let's refresh. There you go. So you see my section background colors shows up right before my content or my background animation. And then one last thing I want to show you that looks really cool is to just add a blend mode and an additional animation element to our row. So right now, let's go to our second row here. I'm going to open up the settings for my second row with all of my content here. And I'm going to add another animation to the row as a whole. As you know, we've added them to each of the text modules individually. Now I'm going to add an additional animation style to the row that contains all of them. And by combining those two animations, you can kind of get a unique animation effect when those text modules come flying in. So to do that, I'm going to add a slide. Actually, let's just do zoom. Zoom. And then for my blend mode, let's just go to my filters here. Let's go to the blend mode. And I'm going to add the blend mode luminosity. And you can see that my images over here are basically being blended with the background image that is behind it. That's why it shows up gray like that. So it's basically preserving the luminosity of the image that sits behind it. So the two images are being blended together for a unique effect. So let's see how those two look. You'll see that luminosity really well on the initial animation. You see how it blends with the background image, a color rather, and then it blends with the background image as it comes in. And if you want to, let's go ahead and check out what that looks like on on mobile here. It's going to shrink it down. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and refresh. See what that looks like. All right, looking good. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me go ahead and refresh again. Show you the animation and then scroll. Let's go and check and see if we have any questions. All right, so looks good. Amy says that she is new to Divi and learning so much. Thank you for the comment. Glad I can be of help today. And please make Klosserg. Please make more videos like this one with real examples of how to apply Divi's powerful features in real life examples. That's what we're doing for these live streams. So I hope that this that you come back next Tuesday and continue to view these live streams with us. Hopefully you'll continue to learn some cool stuff. All right, so I think we're good to go. All right, that's it for this tutorial this week. Please be sure to subscribe to our blog newsletter and subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook. That way you don't miss out on any future live streams or freebies that we give away on a weekly basis. And our next live stream is actually on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's the weekly WP Roundup. So you'll want to check that out. And we will be back here next Tuesday with another Divi use case live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.